Hello and welcome to another Amonkhet Draft League. This is Old Man Poole. We have opened up a spicy pack with a couple of rares, Foil Combat Celebrant, and a Curator of Mysteries. There's also a Catcher's Attendant, which I like a fair amount, Binding Mummy, and not much else. I do think red is a stronger color in Limited in general, or at least in Amonkhet. So Combat Celebrant kind of pulls me towards that direction. I think the Curator of Mysteries is a higher overall power level card. Combat Celebrant once in a while is just fantastic. I mean, it does let you exert all your creatures when you're getting in, and you can do that twice. But I think the Curator of Mysteries, just as a 4/4 flyer for 4, is pretty undercosted, and the cycle and discard effect can be relevant as well, although I don't think you need to build around to make the card good. I'm going to take the Curator here, and going to pass up on the Celebrant. Celebrant, I think, is good, but just in a smaller set of cards. Okay. Here we have a Blood Rage Brawler, which is pretty great if we are on the straight beatdown strategy. Crocodile the Crossing, Cartouche of Strength, and a bunch of other cards that are not as good. I also like the Merciless Javelin there, but we're not really in the colors for it right now. I'm tempted to take the Cartouche of Strength. I think it is better than Crocodile the Crossing. If it's between those two, I think those are probably both a little bit better than the Blood Rage Brawler. There's not a real great blue card here that we'd follow this up with, so I think I'm going to take the Cartouche of Strength and see where this leads us. Green-blue often ends up being kind of a rampy deck. You could do it. I've been talking about doing it for a long time now. We do have to throw aside our Cartouche. This is early in the draft, though. I'm not sure we're going to have another chance. Ugh. Enigma Drake represents a really, really cool deck, and one that I'd really like to have a shot at playing. I'm not sure how often it comes together. I guess what are we taking Enigma Drake over here? Colossopede, I guess? That's kind of it. Colossopede is pretty good if we end up in the green-blue sort of rampish deck. I think I have to take the Enigma Drake, though. We're going to try for it. I'm not sure that's the optimal pick there, but it is an exciting pick, and I'd like to see if we can't make it happen. Looks like we maybe are getting cut on blue here. Take a Minotaur Sure Shot or a Thresher Lizard, both of which are okay, or a Colossopede, maybe stay the course with green. As it stands right now, even though Cartouche is more powerful than Enigma Drake in your average deck, I think we are going to try and push for this deck. So I'm going to take the Minotaur Sure Shot. I think it will fit the best with what maybe we want to try and do. So a couple of not great blue cards. We could just take like an Evolving Wilds. We've passed a couple of green cards now, although the Greater Sandworm's okay, and so is the Initiate's Companion. Don't really think Slitherblade is where you want to be. I guess Magic the Gauntlet's kind of okay. Or Ancient Crab. Ancient Crab maybe works well with the Durdling, although I think that'll probably come around. I think all these cards are replaceable enough that I'm just going to take the Evolving Wilds and see where that leads us. Yeah, there's a Weaver of Currents. Maybe we were forcing this too much. I'm not seeing tons else. Oh, I just want it so much. So desperate. Weaver of Currents, we could take it and just say, hey, we're going to give up on our red here. Yeah. I mean, Weaver is very, very good if we do end up in this deck. We've already passed a couple of Colossopedes, which is rough, but we're still seeing some reasonable green cards. Alternatively, we could just take like the Tallcrop Skirmisher, which would be good in any of our decks. I do like the 2-drops. I think I'm going to take the Weaver of Currents, though. So there we go. Nice and split. Okay. I think Censor is a pretty good late pickup here. I think that helps indicate that blue is open at least. Floodwaters and Hecarim Sentinels I would also play, but Censor's pretty good. Okay, I think we take the River Serpent here over like the Shed Weakness. Cycling has some advantage with Curator and is also okay with Enigma Drake, although I guess the River Serpent doesn't actually combo that. But I think Serpent's where we're at. Cancel or Open into Wonder. Open into Wonder does have the potential to be very good. If we end up in green, it's a pretty powerful effect. I think we're going to take that. This is a late game board ending card. Okay, glad to see another Naga Oracle. So I think we're confident that blue is open at least, even though we kind of dithered around. I don't think the Enigma Drake is what we're going to end up being. And I am a little bit rough that we passed a couple of Colossipedes, but we may be able to get some value coming back in the second pack at least with green. Ancient Crab's not bad. Alright, well, we have a durdley blue deck here. Yeah. I like Naga Oracles. I think this card is, unless your opponent's very aggressive, it does a good job of blocking. If they're playing things like the red cartouche and the white trial, then it can be pretty bad for you. But a lot of times it just blocks very well. Okay. Angler Drake is pretty fantastic here. I do like a Plague Belcher and On-Crop Crasher, but not really where we're at. I think the Angler Drake is comparable in power level to those. It might even be better. Yeah, pretty easy pickup here, I think. Board Initiate's a real card. We could play the Decimator Beetle. We do have an Evolving Wilds for it right now. It is one of the better big game threats. The Vizier of Tumbling Sands is pretty good in the blue-green deck, though, and it doesn't require splashing. Final Reward is also worth noting as a splash card. It's a little bit close. I think I'm going to take the Vizier. It's still good if we end up ramping towards things, and having a cycling combat trick is pretty good for Curator of Mysteries and any other green big cards we see. Okay, ooh, Pull from Tomorrow. I was going to say the Naga Vitalist is a great pickup, but Pull from Tomorrow is another really big X spell. We have a couple of cards of ramp right now. Vitalist is good, but Pull is pretty great. Here, I think I'm okay taking an Essence Scatter. This is maybe a deck where I guess we actually don't have tons going on for Seeker yet, although we do have some. I wouldn't be sad to play it. Alright, Essence Scatter. So we're close to mono blue here, too. There's a chance that we could shift into a different color. Catcher's Monument's powerful. Not really sure where the deck for it. I think we're going to take the Talkrop Skirmishers. I'm not opposed to Heckma Sentinels, but just having 2-drops is important, and this is a pretty good 2-drop. So, at this point in the draft, I'm definitely kicking myself for not going harder on green. Both of these cards could be Colossipedes, and then I think our deck is much better. But we tried for the dream, and we failed a little bit, and that's okay, I guess. I guess here a giant spider over anything else. I have a couple of cyclers, but not tons. We could take the horror speculatively. Green feels super, super cut. I'm not sure how much we're going to end up with that. This has a fair number of good black cards. Giant Spider is just such a lackluster card, but I think I am going to take it over the horror. Ooh, okay. Getting Colossipede here this late is great for us. And makes me happy we didn't try and switch into black, because that is what we want to see. Another Naga Oracle? I do think this card is good. I know a lot of people are pretty down on it. It's maybe... well, it's probably still pretty okay. I think I like it better than anything else we have here. I could pick up a Cradle of the Accursed, I guess. But, third Naga Oracle. I think I'm going to take a Cradle over the fourth Naga Oracle. Or the fifth. I guess we could just play a billion of these. It does work with the Enigma Drake, but don't think that's where we're at. We could take a Scribe of the Mindful. That might be good, better than our another Naga Oracle. I'll keep coming. I'm gonna take a Sting Shot. It's a sideboard card. And Illusory Wrappings is okay. There's an off chance we end up playing that. The Slither deck looks like it was Slither Blade deck looks like it was definitely available. Although I haven't really seen any cartouches, which is a lot of what makes that deck good. Saw a couple of white ones. That might be it, other than the green one we took early. Ooh, Samut Voice of Dissent. Man, this is a great red pack, and pretty bad for us, unfortunately. We could pick up a Trial of Zeal and splash it. Seems kind of questionable. Could play Samut and splash for red. This is a very, very powerful effect. Flash Double Strike means you almost always kill something when it comes in, and then it's pretty big later, even without the white. Yeah, maybe we want to splash that off the Evolving Wilds. There is almost nothing else here for us. We would pick a Hieroglyphic Illumination or Winds of Rebuke and we'd play them, but we would not be excited about it. Let's take a Samut here. Just get a little bit more power in our deck. Ooh, okay. I like a Lay Claim. It is kind of expensive. Sorry about that. My cat being a little bit grumpy again. Labyrinth Guardian is, like I said, a 2-drop, and that's important, but we want to take that over the Lay Claim. That's maybe a little bit better. It's close. Lay Claim is just such a huge game-breaking effect, but on the other hand, we're probably setting ourselves up to get run over at this point with only 3 2-drops. So I think I'm going to take that. It feels a little bit bad, but I think we do need to defend ourselves here on the ground. Oh, there's a Warfire Javeliner. It wasn't opened. 2 Glory Bound Initiates we've seen, though. That's kind of crazy. Someone's really getting hooked up with those. Do we want a Winds of Rebuke or a Evolving Wilds? So you can play the second Evolving Wilds. That gives us a really good chance of playing Samut when we want to. It is a little bit slow. It does pull lands out of our deck, though. Winds is pretty good in some instances. Maybe we'd rather take a Winds. I'm not sure there's a card we always main deck, but against some opponents it's great. Ooh! I think we just pick up the Sandworm Convergence here. A little bit rewarded maybe for taking the Labyrinth Guardian previously over the Lay Claim. Sandworm Convergence is just great if we get there. We only have 2 ramp cards right now, but we have a pretty durdley deck, and we maybe could just make it all the way up. And if we do play this ever, we just win the game. So I think we're not playing Open to Wonder at this point. There's an approach too. Goodness. I think we're probably going to play the Samut over approach. We don't have tons of things that help us dig. I guess the Naga Oracles. It's kind of funny. Yeah. I think we're already a little bit high on the late game, so I'm going to take the Shimmer Scale Drake here. This is maybe a little bit more, it's a little bit of a tragic pick, but I think it is what we've got to do. Okay, happy to pick another Labyrinth Guardian here. And ooh, kind of a close pick here between a Censor and Aven Initiate. I think I want the Censor. Again, I think our win condition is playing some of our, well, I guess maybe our real win condition is like Colossopede and Sandworm Convergence. Maybe having another flyer would be good. Oh, I am the Curator of Mysteries. I think Censor is still a little bit better though. Oh, cool. I don't think we want New Perspectives more than Aven Initiate, although, yeah, we've already got big draw spells, we've already got big stuff. Okay, the last pack has been kind to us, certainly. We were definitely looking a little bit rough early on, but this has looked pretty nice. I guess like a sideboard Giant Spider is probably best, although we're going to hope not to play any. Maybe Pouncing Cheetah, just because it's lower curve. And sometimes get exert creatures. Andre Kudu is not bad. This is kind of a late Evolving Wilds. Yeah, Kudu it is. I guess maybe Haze of Pollen is better than Decision Paralysis. Benefaction of Ronus. Whatever. And Decision Paralysis. Okay, well I think the deck kind of came together there at the end. The deck could definitely be better. I think if we had not tried to go for the Enigma Drake early, that would have maybe helped us out, but we've got some pretty big effects. As it stands, I think I probably would have been better off picking like the Naga Vitalist over Pull from Tomorrow, although I think that's still probably pretty close. And I think at the time that was definitely the correct pick. Let's see. So we've got a fair number of things we can cut. I'm not sure we need 2 Ancient Crabs. Scribe the Mindful, is that okay? not great. Kind of our biggest effects are not that important. We have one thing that cares about cycling. We're just going to pull out the compelling argument and the scribe. Let's see, so we've got 3 counter spells that kind of gives us 6 turn 2 plays. You think I like all of my Naga Oracles? I think I like that better than the Giant Spider. You like the Claw Speed. River Serpent, I guess, is maybe not that great. Cut down a little bit on the high end. Okay, I think we do want the full 17 lands here. We have a couple of really big expensive cards, and we kind of just durdle around unless we get there. We can probably afford to play a Cradle of the Accursed, though, in addition to the Evolving Wilds. Cradle's bad, though, a lot of the time, because I don't think we want to sacrifice our lands all that often. So maybe we don't like that. Let's see here. If we were cutting one more thing, what do we cut? Maybe Henri Kudu. This is going to be a 2/3 for 3 a lot of the time. There's not tons of things we want to throw it on. And Ancient Crab's maybe just a little bit better for the deck. Just as a big wall that blocks most of the early exert creatures pretty effectively. Kind of similar to people being down on Naga Oracle, I actually think Ancient Crab's pretty okay. People say blocking is dead in this format, and it's definitely, it's rough, but these are also pretty sizable blockers, so. Most of the cheaper exert cards don't interact super well. The only 3-drop exert creature that takes advantage of Ancient Crab that I can think of is the Hooded Brawler. Okay, I think I like something like this. The deck feels cool, but definitely sweet. We're full of a lot of powerful effects. I say let's go for it. So we're gonna definitely play our Evolving Wilds and 1 red source. Don't think I want quite that many blue, although it is kind of close. We want to play the Weaver of Currents on time if we can, although we are very close to mono blue. So maybe something like this, and 1/5 ends up being correct. Yeah. We do need to get up to 2 for Sandworm Convergence, but that's going to be pretty late game. Evolving Wilds can also double as a way to get that out of the deck. Another forest out of the deck. Let's do something like that. Alright, deck looks sweet. Mono blue. Who would have thunk it? See you guys in match 1.